to welcome Wade Kelly back to the podcast, this time as part of the official 2016 GRL blog tour. Wade lives and writes in conservative small-town America on the East Coast, where it's not easy to live free and open in one's beliefs. She writes passionately about controversial issues and strives to make a difference by making people think. When not writing, she's thinking about writing, and more than likely scribbling ideas on sticky notes in the car while playing taxi driver for her children. She likes snakes, can't spell, and has a tendency to make people cry. That is so true. Thanks for being back with us, Wade.
Hey, how are you?
Good.
Anytime.
I have cried in more than one Wade Kelly book.
I try. Even the happy scenes sometimes make people cry, so that's good.
That's very true, yeah. I've been on both sides of that on that fence. So, your third book in the Jock series, Back Off, That's My Jock, is coming out August 26th. Tell us what the gang is up to in that book.
More soccer. It starts the day Jock 2 ends. So it continues in the same season of soccer. I said it like last fall. So some people were confused when they saw October 14th because they thought that's when it was coming out. And I said, no, that's the day that it starts. So there are dates in the book which hopefully help people follow the time frame. So we have Chris and Alonzo that meet in the beginning of the soccer season. And Jock 3 picks up with Doug in the same soccer season, right as their, I guess, regular college soccer season is ending on into playoffs and stuff like that. Because they are going to a D3 college. So
what goes on with Doug? Because we know from book 2 that he was, going through some issues.
Doug has a lot of issues. I have the when this interview comes out, it'll be right after, like maybe 4 or 5 days after my cover reveal with Caraway Carter. And in that, I talk a little bit about the cover being red, so not giving away anything there. I wanted to have an angry kind of feel to it, so that's why it's red, because Doug has a lot of anger issues. He was very confused over his attraction, was kind of, hey, maybe I like my best friend, and that didn't work out so well. And so when he goes into this one, it's just, it's a struggle over sexuality because he doesn't understand himself. And even though there have been little hints of attraction to guys in the past, he's kind of discounted it as jealousy over Chris having this hot kind of scruff on his face that he couldn't grow at the time. And, a lot of guys, I think, have envy of other people's bodies, whether they have more muscles or whatever. So I think at the time he was like envious of his facial hair that he couldn't grow. And so now when he's in college and he's confused over Chris, I'm confusing myself here. This is typical talking to me. So the book is basically Doug trying to figure out his sexuality, and it starts with his attraction to Sam, because he thought Sam was a girl and Sam's not, and then he was just like thrown off kilter again. So he has to re-evaluate his attraction because we learn in the first chapter Sam is on the soccer team. So how do you avoid your attraction to another jock who's around you every day, practice, sweating in the locker room, things like that. Yeah. You're like, oh gosh. So is that what you wanted to know? I forgot the question.
Yeah, you covered it. And full disclosure to the audience, I've read this book a while ago because I was one of your betas on it. I thought you really dug into some timely issues here of discovering your sexuality and where you fall on the scale too.
Oh, good. I like hearing the opinion of men because, I'm not a man, so it doesn't necessarily mean that I know how somebody thinks. I just try to think of it as a human experience and what if. So I'm really glad that you liked it. And
when you wrote My Roommate's a Jock, did you see this as a series and that it would grow to kind of explore so many issues, or have you just kind of like through the course of just kind of evolution of things.
It's evolution. At the time, way back when I wrote the first Jock book, I wasn't thinking of anything. I tried to make it a complete story, beginning to end. It's about Colin Ellis. So I also wasn't really thinking about a career per se. I was messed up emotionally to begin with, and I was writing kind of depressing stuff. And when I wrote When Love Is Not Enough and The Cost of Loving, I needed a break from hard, deep issues. Although I think Jock, the first one, also covers some deep issues. It's just done in a lighthearted, funny sort of way, and I hadn't written anything funny. So when I wrote that, it just kind of fell out. And then, I had the tendency to take a year to write a book. So Jock was like 3 months or something, 4 months. It wasn't very long. And then the next one I wrote was Names Can Never Hurt Me, and that took 12 months. And Misplaced Affection took 14 months. So my trend was just slow writing. And although Misplaced Affection was such a long book, it probably could have been split into two, but I didn't want to.
Mm-hmm.
That's sort of why I self-published it. I wanted to keep it one book, even though it's 138,000 words. So I like the artistic, what I was able to do because I self-published it. But then after I wrote that, I wrote Jock 2, and I was thinking, well, the first Jock was 3 years prior. So technically, 3 years have gone by. What is Ellis and Cole doing now? And how do I fit things together? And it actually made it a lot easier for Jock 2 because I didn't have to continue with the story of Ellis and Cole. They could be in it. I wanted them to be in it. And so making Ellis the soccer coach at McDaniel was perfect. So he could have a peripheral role, and you could see Ellis and Cole growing up and becoming adults and having adult issues, and adulting sucks. So, yeah, see, it does. So they're having this rough time, but introducing a new character in Chris gave me the ability to write a whole new story. So, and originally when I was writing Jock 2, Doug wasn't supposed to fall in love with a boy who kind of looked like a girl at the time you met him. It was supposed to be something totally different. So I had to change some sections of Jock 2 late in the editing process, and I had to apologize to my editors. I'm so sorry. I'm fixing the timeline because I was changing Doug's character. I wanted to hit on other LGBT issues with Sam's character, but sometimes you have to understand things are too difficult and let them go. You don't want to overcomplicate things because if I'm confused by the complication, readers are going to be confused too. So sometimes simpling things up is better. So I simpled it up. So hopefully it's not a completely stupid idea that he was dressed like a girl at this party, but that's what I came up with. So when we move into Jock 3, Doug is confused over it and angry at himself, I think, for what he assumed and how he treated Sam. And then now Sam's on the soccer team, and it's just like, I don't know what I'm doing. So I hope that makes sense. So I'm just trying to write faster, I guess. Not really write faster, but more consistent. Although I cannot say I've done that this year. But last year I was very consistent.
And you've got a Jock 4 in the works already.
Yes, I'm trying. See, now, along with the whole fact that I just said when I wrote Jock 2, it was really easy, and Jock 3 kind of goes along with it. It's like the same soccer season. It's the same players, and I think Jock 3 is my favorite because it involves everyone, and you get all the old players as well as the new ones, and I think that makes it a lot of fun. But on the other side, Jock 4 is very difficult because it's Rob's book, and I have to go back to Jock 1 and talk about Rob and how he's changed in the last several years. And for anyone who has read the one in between, Oh Crap, This Jock's Getting Married, I give you this little snippet of Russell leaving and going to Japan, and it leaves Rob in this turmoil of losing a friendship that he's had his whole life, and he is clinging to Ellis. So you barely see him in Jock 2. He does show up at Ellis and Cole's house, but that was to set up for the fact that he's going to be around in Jock 4. So I'm having a hard time because Jock 4 has to, I guess I'm putting pressure on myself because I want it to be amazing, but I don't know. Jock 3 is amazing. To me, I love it. So Jock 4 is hard because I want to capture all that fun in Jock 1, but also go through a lot of the emotional problems that Rob is having because he is stated in the book as a Christian. He goes to church. He reads his Bible all the time. He has this great religious just thing around him as his character. So how do you take the religion and settle it in your heart if you have an attraction to another man? So I'm not fully sure how I'm going to do this with Rob, but I do write gay romance, so at some point I have to make Rob gay and justify that, and or at least, yeah, I don't know. This book is still in the works. I'm not sure what to do with it. It's just a mess. So,
Well, I'm sure that Jock fans are going to look forward to it. I know I am. So.
Well, Will Parkinson is really, I mean, he's like in spirit hovering over my head, write that book. So I think of him and I'm like, I want it to be really good because I want him to really like it. And I think it's funny because I've only met Will once, and it was years and years ago, and he was really quiet, and I was really quiet that year too. So it's not like we really even got to talk. But online, I think of him.
He's your patron saint of the Jock books, telling you to write that book.
Yes. Among others, there are definitely more people that are looking forward to the fourth Jock book too. But I always think of Will, so it's funny.
Now you also
hopefully Jock 3 will keep everybody sated or whatever until then, because it's got a lot of stuff going on and a lot of characters, and Rob plays a huge role in friendship with Doug, and I hope that shows a different side of him, or I don't know.
Now you also had Banker's Hours come out this year. Tell us briefly about that book for people who may have missed it.
Banker's Hours was also like one of those times where I needed a break, and it wasn't a break from writing tough stuff and I needed something funny. It was more like I was writing Jock 2, and then I wrote Jock 3, and I wanted something lighter. And, oh no, actually, I wrote that in between Jock 2 and 3. Maybe I just needed a break from Jock 2. I don't know. But sometimes you need just a break from something that you've been in your mind for a while. So I wrote Banker's Hours over the summer last year. And I got the idea because I was at my bank, and this really cute guy worked at the bank. And I just thought, oh my gosh, he's a character. I could write a book about him falling for a hot biker dude. So it was just, I was thinking of a biker, like leather jackets and kind of thing, but it ended up Tristan was a auto mechanic, but still muscles and sweat, a lot different than the prim and proper banker with his dress shirts and ties, just something polar opposite kind of thing, I guess. So it's fun. It's about a banker who falls for an auto mechanic and just things that ensue. And I think it's fun.
It is.
Although I don't know. I guess people are reading it. It's just that not as many people rate books on Goodreads sometimes. And that one's my lowest rated book. So I don't know.
So what are you looking forward to in Kansas City this year?
See new people. There are a ton of people, especially like on the Facebook group. There's a lot of people in that group that I don't know. So that's kind of fun. I like to meet new people. I like to make new readers. this is the first time, like when I look at the author list, I know probably 90% of them, which is amazing to me. Going back 4 years or whatever, when my first GRL, I knew no one. And now I recognize names. I've talked to them. I know their face. And I think that's really exciting. So I know a lot of the authors already. But I like to know the readers too. I think it's fun to see people that you see every year at GRL, but also fun to meet new people that you never know who's going to be your next best friend, so to say. I mean, I met Kayla Cooley at RT two years ago, and we get along so good. I mean, now she's my roommate, so we obviously get along if we're in a room together. But I had no idea when she stopped at my table and said, "You're on my list. I need your signature." I didn't know that would be an amazing friendship. But so I encourage all the new people that are going to GRL, talk to people. You don't know who you're going to meet. Especially, I'm pretty open now, and I'll talk to anybody. So don't be afraid to come up to me. But there's also a guy that is friends of mine on Goodreads, and we don't talk a lot or anything, but he's read all my books, and he will, I think, 99% sure he's supposed to be at GRL. So Maddie, I am looking forward to meeting him, because I love meeting fans that I've known online for a long time. But, meeting in person is just so cool.
Mm-hmm. Very true. Very true.
So I'm looking forward to that.
And
what are you looking forward to?
Pretty much everything you said. Catching up with people that we only get to see once a year. And meeting the readers. It's such a blast
I love it.
to meet them and to talk with them for a little bit and, find out what they're reading, whether it's my books or not. Like, what are you reading? What's exciting you? That kind of stuff. I love getting book recommendations back. I always come back from GRL with a ton of stuff on my to-read list.
That's cool.
So what's the best way for everyone to keep up with you online?
I'm on Facebook mostly. I remember that account the most. Twitter, I often go, oh yeah, I have a Twitter account. I should tweet something, and then I don't know what to tweet, because we all know I cannot keep, things into 140 characters. So Twitter is difficult, but I am on Twitter, writer Wade Kelly. I'm on Facebook, writer Wade Kelly. I have an author page that you can like on Facebook, as well as one that you can friend me as. I have an Instagram, either writer Wade Kelly or Wade Kelly, I forget. And I have a Pinterest account, and I have a blog, writer Wade Kelly at blogspot.com, that I'm not consistent at, and that is the biggest thing that I wish I could change, and I need to change, is to be more consistent in blogging. And my website is www.writerwadekelly.com.
So we'll link up to all your websites in the show notes. And Wade, thank you so much for being with us. It was awesome to talk to you.